So we have question number 23 now. The figure above shows the direction and relative magnitudes of all three forces that are acting on an object. Which one of the following best shows the direction of the object's acceleration? So first of all, here is the diagram. Looks like this. It wants to know that if these are the forces being applied to this mass, what will be the direction of the object's acceleration? Our options are A, an arrow up like that, B, an arrow down like that, C, an arrow straight up, D, an arrow straight down, or E, an arrow directly to the right, like that. So, in order to solve this, first what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to cancel out any forces that are able to be canceled out. So what that means is if there are forces pointed in the opposite directions, they will get subtracted from each other. So since there is a positive force going up and a negative force going straight down, that negative force can be subtracted from the positive force to give it its net force in the y direction. And just by looking at it, it looks like it would be about that long after subtracting this, because if we have this distance here and we take this out of it, it would be about this long, as if it were like this long before. And then we don't have anything else in the x direction, so we can just leave that vector there. And then all we have to do is add these vectors together. So to add vectors together, you just put the tail of one of them to the head of the other, making sure it's still pointed in the same direction. So if we were to draw that here, what that would look like is if we would have this upward vector, that's the net forces in the y direction, and then the tail of the x direction vector will just be connected to the tip of that, and it will be still going directly to the right as it was before. And then what you can do, just like that, and then what you can do is you can add a vector that goes from the tail of the first one to the tip of the second vector, and that will be the direction of your acceleration. So if we look at the options, it's not B because B goes down and to the left. It's not C because C goes directly upwards. It's not D because D goes directly downwards. It's not E. E goes directly to the right. It will experience both an acceleration to the right and an acceleration in the positive y direction at the same time, which will result in a diagonal acceleration, as shown by A, with this arrow pointed up like that, up and to the right. So the answer is A for 23. Because when you take into account all components of the acceleration, it has a net force in the positive y direction and the positive x direction, which means the vector of acceleration will be in a positive y direction and in a positive x direction.